The United States military operates the largest fleet of combat aircraft in the world. They have more than 14,000 military aircraft in its inventory. The United States military breaks out its aviation inventory into distinct categories. The largest group of military aircraft is classified as airlift or cargo. This category includes more than 4,000 assets utilized by the Air Force, the Army, and the Navy. But what happens when an aircraft is no longer in use and gets decommissioned? Most of the planes find their way to the so-called Boneyard, an aircraft desert storage facility in Tucson, Arizona. The Boneyard is the world's largest aircraft storage and preservation facility called the 309th Aerospace Maintenance and Regeneration Group, or AMARG, which resides within the Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. Arranged over approximately 10.5 square kilometers, this place is home to almost 4,000 aircraft and 13 aerospace vehicles. And combined, it's estimated that they're worth about $35 billion. It processes and holds planes and other aircraft from a variety of sources, including the Air Force, the Navy, and even NASA. This collection picked up steam after World War II. More than 500 people are currently employed to take care of the aircraft that call this airfield their permanent residence. That being said, while the Boneyard is where military planes go to die, not all of them will simply be scrapped for parts. Planes are expensive things to build and maintain, but even at the end of their flying lives, they still have their uses. But it takes a lot of room and a lot of money to store these unused planes in the kind of hangars needed to keep them warm and dry. It's much cheaper to store them in the kind of conditions found in Tucson. That's the reason why many of the world's biggest aircraft boneyards are found in the dry deserts of the southwestern U.S. While some seem to be brand new, others are shrouded in protective covers to keep sand and dust away. Not all jets are fortunate enough to survive retirement in one piece. As within the hangars, some planes have been reduced to boxes of spare parts, ready to be sent out to different locations around the globe to give a hand to other aircraft take to the skies again. Scrapping the plane for parts is one of the more common things that happens at the Boneyard. Just like in a regular scrapyard, the workers will take out the parts that are needed or wanted elsewhere and prepare the rest of the plane for scrapping. Another common thing that happens is that workers will convert planes into drones for target practice. Other times, though, the planes will simply be prepared for service, just not always for the U.S. military. Workers at the Boneyard will commonly perform maintenance on planes that are about to be sold to other militaries. This typically means installing structural improvements, which should help keep the plane flyable for longer. That said, the Boneyard will also perform maintenance on planes that the U.S. military is currently using. Aircraft are kept at various levels of restoration. Some are kept in as close to working order as possible if they are deemed to be needed to fly at a later date, while others are partially dismantled. Some of the aircraft stored at Davis-Monthan include retired B-52 bombers, aircraft capable of carrying nuclear weapons. As part of strategic arms limitation treaties with the Soviet Union, the B-52s were stored with their wings removed and placed next to the plane, allowing Soviet satellites to verify that the bombers had been taken out of service. Others are used for spare parts, with the components sitting in the aircraft until they're needed. On site is a smelter, where some of the surplus aircraft are shredded and totally recycled. And with the original assembly lines of most of these aircraft long since mothballed, Davis-Monthan is home to some 400,000 pieces of tooling and machinery needed to create specific aircraft parts. Aircraft all over the world, not just those flown by the US, contain parts from the base's enormous stockpile. Although Davis-Monthan is not the world's only aircraft boneyard, it is by far the largest. So you may be thinking why a storage facility of this magnitude is located in Tucson. There are some reasons for that. First of all, the climatic conditions in Arizona, with its dry heat and low humidity, mean aircraft take longer to rust and degrade, making them less susceptible to corrosion and making it easier to keep them in proper working condition. Moreover, deserts offer a large amount of space for an affordable price, which means those interested in their service save a lot of money. With the area's low humidity in the 10% to 20% range, meager rainfall of 11 annually, hard alkaline soil, and high altitude of 2,500 feet, allowing the aircraft to be naturally preserved for cannibalization or possible reuse. When the aircraft first arrive at the 309th AMARGA, they are welcomed by the receiving branch. This group's responsibilities include reviewing the carrier's paperwork, an entire history of documentation including noted maintenance over the years. The aircraft is stripped of firearms, ejection seat charges, clocks, and classified hardware. Following the cavity cleanse is a nice long bath. This wash is especially important for vehicles that served in salty areas. The salt must be fully removed so it does not corrode the exterior while in storage. Sequentially, the fuel system is drained, filled with lightweight oil, then drained again. This will coat the system with a protective oil film. The aircraft is finally sealed off from dust, high temperatures, and sunlight. A variety of techniques are used, from Spraylat, an opaque white high-tech vinyl plastic compound spray, to help deflect the fierce desert sun and keep the aircraft relatively cool. The cabin will generally stay within 15 degrees of the outside temperature thanks to the Spraylat. Finally, the aircraft is towed to its final resting place or designated storage position.